Hi, I'm Barbara. I'm from Ora province in Papua New Guinea. Um, I I live in New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand. I'm doing my PhD studies, and I'm living here with my daughter. I wanted to speak a little bit about depression because I feel like it is a very important topic and one that probably doesn't take a lot of prominence, especially in Papua New Guinean homes. So I feel like maybe if I share my story and what I experienced, and those of you who might identify with, or maybe who have friends who might be going through something and have similar, um, they might be showing similar signs, and maybe you can be there for them and help them to get through it. Just to share a little bit about my experience. So, depression, a lot of things can cause depression. For my part, much of it had to do with going through a divorce. So it's a kind of a big event emotionally because, all of a sudden something that you knew is coming to an end. So obviously it will affect you. So I was dealing with that, and I didn't know how to deal with it. So eventually what happened was I was at a place where I had cut out my child from my life. Also, I was not participating in activities that I normally do. So at work, I functioned really well. So at like 110%, I was giving at work. But at home, it was a different story. So after work, I'd go home and I'd lock the door and just be at the room. I didn't want to talk to my child or to any of my family members. I tended to just stick to myself. I ate a lot. It was like a mechanism that trying to deal with what was happening. But during that time, I also realized that looking back now, I realized my family was really important to me during that process. So my parents, my brothers and sisters, they rallied, around me. They made sure that they try to take me out from my room. So it's either, saying, oh, we made a cup of coffee for you, like you like it. Or, we've got a plastic or betel nut for you to chew. And it's, something I like to do. So they were always trying to engage me, make me get out and participate in what we normally do, at home. So that was good. Anyway, so as I was saying, my family had a lot to play in, me coming to terms with what had happened and to the road to recovery. And also during the time, I feel like my siblings had really stepped up. So my daughter had positive male role models in my brothers, and my, for me and my sisters as well stepped up for my daughter. And I think that was really important because, mommy was not in a good headspace, but she had got people who were there for her to be able to deal with it as well. And I think that's important because in Papua New Guinea, we normally don't tend to realize that our children, like the kids, are very important as well. So in this situation, we're focusing on so much on the adults that we forget that these kids have got feelings and they are going through a traumatic time as well. And if we don't reach out to them, I feel like they grew up being damaged adults in the sense that they don't know how to process their feelings. They will not know how to talk about it and to reach out for the help that they need. So as a society, our culture is different. So we all in Papua New Guinea, we've got a melting pot. You have people from the coast probably deal with things different from people from the highlands, from the islands as well. So it's a total different mix going on. But at the end of the day, I feel like if we talk about these things, we can help not just us, but our kids as well to grow up in citizens who can talk about what's affecting them, how they feel about things. And I think we'll be in a better place to address things like domestic violence, a lot of violence that comes out because we don't talk and we don't address what's going on. So looking back now, I realized that, during that time, going through depression, it's a vulnerable time, and especially being a female and female Papua New Guinean, I don't think we talk about a lot of these things. It was hard to talk about it, just to acknowledge that there is an issue and mental health issue. And I feel like maybe a lot of us should start talking about it now. So if there's something not right, that's not right. And especially if it's someone nearer to you, close to you, like if you see that things are different or they're going through something tough in their life, it's nice for you to reach out and talk to them about it, because chances are they could be going through depression, but we don't have the help that we have to be able to diagnose and to treat. So it could get really bad. So from my experience, I feel like there's this, for Papua New Guineans, there's this, not just culture, but as Christians as well, there's this big thing that if a marriage or if a relationship was not working out, people would probably send you to go and pray about it, which is good. I totally, go for that, pray about it. But also the conversation also should be that at some point, if you see that it's just not, there's so much damage been done, maybe there should be more conversation on how to help the people to, if you're going to get a divorce, you do it properly. And by do it properly, I mean that, both sides can acknowledge, like there's no shame if a marriage fails. Like there is no shame in that. At the end of the day, we want a couple to, like, if you're going to walk away with your head held high, and you're not leaving someone in a bad place, either mentally or culturally as well. Because I feel like there's a lot of not shame or stigma going with if a marriage breaks down. Like if it's not working, it's not working. If you need to divorce or break it off, that's okay, because your mental headspace, your physical security, your emotional well-being is very important. So you should not put that on the line just so that it looks good for everyone around you. But there's different ways people cope with, how they handle depression and also going through divorce as well. So definitely, like I know people who've handled it differently to I have, and it would be so. It's doing things that that you would not do in normal times, So it was not like me to be locked in the room and locking myself from everyone. So looking back, that was me coping. I also know people who never used to go partying, for example, and it's females that would not go partying basically every weekend, or every excessive partying, if I can use that word. And that was happening, I've seen that happen in some. So looking back now after what I've gone through, I realized that that's coping mechanism for them, is doing something that they would not like them to do. It's not characteristic of them. Basically, that's what I'm saying. All of us as Papua New Guineans can actually contribute to helping the situation. And in terms of depression wise and helping people or our family or friends to come out of it, we can be that positive network, or provide that positive energy for someone to come out of it and be able to beat depression rather than contributing to the downfall. Taking a step back. So my child now, she's a teenager. So one of the things that I feel growing up was different to me and her, my parenting skills now with her, is communication. I feel growing up, we didn't, it was in a household that you didn't have communications about relationships, what to recognize in terms of a good relationship, and what is something that you should not put up with, or something that's considered bad relationships. So what are the characteristics that if you saw, that that's not nice, you should not accept it, and you should not tolerate it in a relationship. I feel like I didn't have that. The good thing is, though, I am now in a place where I can, better equip my child with that, growing up. So I talk to her about relationships, when it comes to a point in time where she has to form her own relationships, she will recognize, she will know, she knows already what is good relationship, what are things that you should not put up with and you should not accept because they're not good. This is not good for a relationship. So I feel like we need to have those conversations in our homes in PNG. For people my age, our generation, we may have missed out on that opportunity, but we've got a chance to help our children coming up. So we want the next generation of Papua New Guineans who know how to speak what they feel. So, and in a good space. So I'm talking, if something is affecting a relationship, you don't wait until you get drunk and you come and start yelling at each other. So when we get into relationships, communication is really important. Like looking back now, I feel like, there's a lot of missed opportunities that we could have talked about what was affecting us. But then again, we didn't have those tools. I personally feel like I didn't know how to talk about things that were affecting me. But now, after, being through what I've been through, I realized that communication, many of our problems we could solve by actually sitting down and talking about it. In relationships, all of them don't need to end up in divorce. You can save things. And talking about what's affecting us is very important. And when it has to happen, we come from a culture where many of us, within Papua New Guinea, we marry into different provinces. Different provinces have got different ways on how they deal with issues or how we personally deal with issues. So if we had to talk about this, and if you're in a relationship or if you're that's made up of different parts of PNG or different cultures, I feel it's very important that when that conversation happens, it should be in a space where you've got people from both cultures. So, for example, between the men and women, you're the woman's family, the men's family, and you sit down to, talk about how you can help these people, the couple that is. And so when that happens, you don't feel like, one side of the family is trying to push the agenda or, the other one feels like they're not being represented well. So it has to be family support from both sides so you can have a conversation. And I also feel like at that time the conversation happens, it should be a positive space. So when I talk positive space, no alcohol, like it's not a social gathering where you can have people drinking alcohol and trying to talk about it. It should be treated, with a lot of respect. So people should be thinking clearly and talking about the issues. We have got a high rate of domestic violence in maybe the Pacific and there's no lie about that. I feel many of these things maybe we can avoid if we have better communication and people being able to sit down and talk without feeling judged. And after all that talking is done, also as individuals, perhaps we look within ourselves and see how we can change for the better, because it does not make sense if we talk about the same things over and over and over and there's no change coming up. So again, personally, we need to want to change. We need to want to take what's given and try and fix things before it goes down to the part where you have to, just go your own way. So this is more for those who might be going through a stage in your life where you feel like things are not happening or things are, you need to speak about what's happening. Conversations have to be had. And as a Papua New Guinean, I feel like many times we don't really, maybe because it's our culture or because of our faith, or I'm not so sure, but we don't talk about what's really affecting us, like what are the root cause of what's making me angry. I should be able to speak about it and not get judged for it. So for anyone who might be in a similar situation as I am, in a divorce situation, please don't let, whatever our adult issues are, get in the way of the kids having a chance to have relationship on both sides. That's really important for them as well. Because growing up, they're forming relationships, and that's important. We want to have kids who have got both sides support, and for them to be strong adults in future, I think that's very important for them to have. Also, we've talked about, so as I said, a lot of talk about relationships. Moving forward, for me personally, I felt that like to be able to heal. So many of us kind of, when people are sick, you see them bedridden and like physically sick, we know that they're sick. I think mental health is, for depression, it's different because it's in the brain and one person is fighting it themselves. So, but same thing. So with physical illness, you need to heal first before you, participate in maybe physical activities or, work around the house or, so mental health is the same. Before you form any new relationships, like permanent relationships, you have to heal as well. So when you have the chance to form new relationships, you're not carrying your, not baggage, but you have issues that you have not dealt with, and it can creep into the next relationships you form. So I feel like moving forward, that's really important to heal mentally, be in a good headspace, and then form new relationships that are good for you, and you are in a good space to recognize that it's good for you. And also, especially when you have kids, whatever decisions you make affects kids as well. So you need to be thinking along those lines as well. So in terms of depression, it's not weakness. It is real. It is real, and if people tell you they're not feeling well or they're depressed about something, don't downplay it, because it is real. And the only way that we're going to make PNG, like our society, strong, not just physically, but we have to have mentally tough people as well, adults who are going to make good decisions about many things that's happening. So whatever field you are in, science, maybe health, economics, politics, we have to have people who are mentally strong as well. And the kind of conversations we have, we should be reaching out and helping those who might be fighting, depression especially. I feel like it does not take the prominence it should, but again, not to downplay. It's not a weakness. It is real. It is an illness, but the good thing is we can come out of it, and it's not just one person's battle. It's every one of us surrounding that person has to help the people or the person who's depressed to come out of it. So I just wanted to say that it's not weakness to say that you are depressed or you're going through something. It actually takes a strong person, I feel, to come out and say that I have got issues. I'm fighting a mental illness. I'm not so much mental. I'm in a bad headspace. I think all of us should feel comfortable enough to reach out to the people around us to tell them that we are not in a good headspace and we need help. So from my experience, I feel like when I've started talking about it, a lot of friends and family who I thought had it together actually have reached out to me personally to thank me for speaking about it, because they have, probably have gone through similar or know someone who's gone through someone similar. Have gone through something similar. So it's nice to have that conversation and for all of us to be on the same page. For PNG to move forward, it's not just about, the economics of it or the health of it, like physical health of it. I think we need to have good headspace for us to make decisions that are good for our country moving forward. And that depression can affect anyone, it can be anyone. We could be functioning well, but we could be fighting something as well. So just be nice.